we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. If you're interested in financial news and commentary from a black perspective, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. So as you guys come into the chat, I'm not going to take very long, but I wanted to really quickly tell you guys something that I actually think is pretty good news. It has to do with a survey. I told you guys that one of the things that I do to try to just keep my finger on the pulse of what people are feeling and what people are thinking is, I do surveys because I'm a statistician and, and a researcher, and I like to find out facts and stuff like that. That's why I'm not very good at like group think and mob think. I don't follow the crowd. I don't listen to what CNBC says or MSNBC. I take that in and then I process it. I compare it with my own notes, and I'm not afraid to come to my own conclusions, even if they're different from what everybody else is saying. And I did a survey, man. I did a survey because I wanted to find out how people are doing financially since the quarantine, right? I had always, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I made this assumption, and they say the word assumption. If you read books like The 4 Agreements, one of the things they tell you in The 4 Agreements is stop making assumptions, because a lot of times you make assumptions and it leads you to come to the wrong conclusion, and then you end up doing something stupid. You end up cussing your friend out because you made the assumption that because they looked at you funny, they must have been thinking one thing and they were actually thinking something else, right? So if your goal is to not be stupid, then don't make assumptions. But sometimes we're stupid. I'm stupid sometimes. But when I'm not being stupid, I don't make assumptions. So are we okay with that? Are we in agreement that our goal is to not be stupid? Remember, this is the platform for intelligent black people, so stupid people should not be listening right now. So I made the assumption, because I was being stupid, that the quarantine was killing people financially. That, that the majority of black folks especially were getting hammered, because we talk about black folks being hammered by, what's going on in terms of health issues. But, and we know that black people are not where white people are when it comes to economic issues. So I admittedly thought, since a lot of folks were losing their jobs and everything else, that people were going to be struggling financially. And you would be amazed to see what I found out from my survey results. I'm going to pull this up. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it yet, please hit the thumbs up button. So here's what, so first I surveyed my friends on Twitter. And in case you don't know, if you're a statistician, you'll know that when you have 100,000 Twitter followers, my Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, by the way, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. If you have 100,000 Twitter followers, that's great for data collection. If you have, 400,000 people on one YouTube channel, like that's great for data collection. So I love to collect data and find out what's on people's minds. And one of the things that I asked is, I said, has the quarantine been good or bad for your finances? And I left 2 simple responses, either good or bad. No room for like, I'm not sure, all that, nah. Make a decision. And 69% of the respondents said that the quarantine has been good for their finances. And I was like, what? Oh my God, this is crazy. Oh my God, it makes me happy. I'm happy for you though. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people struggling. I'm so happy to see this. And so what I did was I then did the survey again. I did it on the Black Financial Channel. And I asked the same question. In this case, it was 68%. Sorry, scratch that. Not 68%. Sorry. That was on Your Black World. Your Black World is another platform we have. So Your Black World, it was 68%. So very consistent with the previous result. I then went to the Black Financial Channel, where the result was 74% of you. 74% of you on the Black Financial Channel said that the quarantine has been good for your finances. And I just thought that was so interesting and so cool, so exciting, because that's so different from the narrative that you get from the media, right? And so I have some theories, I have some ideas, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Um, and I'm going to say this: one idea that I do have in terms of why the Black Financial Channel's results are going to be a little bit different is because those of you who subscribed here to the Black Financial Channel, you're not the same as everybody else. You're not the same as white people. You're not even the same as most black people, because unfortunately in the black community, economic culture is not a strong part of our culture. We love money, but we don't love the act of learning about money. We love money, but we don't learn money, right? So getting black folks to want to learn money as much as we love money are two different things. It's like the difference between somebody who loves to eat food versus somebody who wants to learn how to grow food and cook food, right? Those are two different skills. I love to eat food, as my stomach shows, but Alicia loves to cook food. And so, sometimes, at dinner time, she'll make food for everybody and not even eat anything. And I eat it all, right? So I'm an expert at eating. She's an expert at cooking. So the same thing is true with money. Black folks who love to learn about money are different from black people who just love having money. But those who actually want to have money, if they're smart, will learn how to obtain money. And so it doesn't surprise me that 74%, that a larger percentage of you on the Black Financial Channel are doing better during the quarantine, because that probably means that you have cultivated your skill set when it comes to learning how to make money. You probably have multiple streams of income. You're more likely to have multiple streams of income. You're more likely to be stock market investors. So your money's going up. Throw your hands up if you're a stock market investor. You're more likely to have been, financially careful, financially frugal. You're conscious of your finances. You're financially woke. You're financially woke. Conscious means aware. Awareness is the key to solving problems. You can't solve a problem if you're not aware of your environment, right? So a lot of the reasons that black folks can't solve financial problems is because we're not financially aware, right? And you can see this, right? With the culture, just even during quarantine culture, you've got some people who have used this quarantine time as a time to build with family, right? You got to know your kids, and you found maybe some of y'all dudes with side chicks found out that your wife is actually the coolest person that you know. Maybe some of you realize that being at home and being at peace and being centered was a great way for you to find out what you actually want out of life. Maybe you also took the time to learn. Some of you got online and learned. I mean, in the Black Business School, our enrollment just skyrocketed because a ton of people came in and were like, hey, I want to learn all these things I never had time to learn before. So it's been awesome. We probably trained at least a good 20,000 extra people on stock market investing in the last month alone, which is exciting for me. And then some of our people spent, the bulk of our time, watching, Club Quarantine DJ battles or whatever, right? Like I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that stuff is the stuff you do after you do the important stuff, right? But there are some people who do the important stuff before they do, some people who do the unimportant stuff before they do the important stuff, which is like eating your dessert before you eat your main course. People who eat their dessert before they eat their main course, those are the fat kids. But the fit kids, who are not the fat kids, they still eat dessert, but they eat dessert after they eat their main course. So some of you went to DJ Nice's Club Quarantine after you finished your online class. Maybe you did that after you spent time reading with your kids. You did that after you spent time getting into your fitness routine, right? Some of y'all did it before, right? That was the first thing you did and the last thing you did and the only thing you did. And that's why the numbers over in Club Quarantine are here, and the numbers over in learning spaces are tend to be here. And I think that should change. It should actually be a little more like this. Cultures that actually succeed and do well tend to be cultures that are more like this. Did you even know that there are cultures out there where if you tell your mother or your father that I'm now a famous rapper, that your mother and father will literally be ashamed of you? Like they'll literally say, why would you want to do that? I don't care how much money you make. Like that's ridiculous. Like that's literally like childish. Like what is wrong with you? Did you know that? Seriously. Like I forgot. I don't know if it was Zimbabwe. But anyway, I talked to one of my friends who lives in Africa, and she said, oh yeah, she said back at home, she said, if you tell your parents you want to be an entertainer, they'll just laugh at you. They just think that's not a real profession. So you kind of have to sort of think a little bit about sort of who you are and what you've become and what white folks told you that you are. You're more than entertainers. You can entertain if you want, but entertainers are there for, comic relief. They're there for people to, laugh at and to do little tricks to keep people's attention. I think that there should be just as much room for those of us who are serious, not just those of us who are here to, make people laugh, right? So anyway, moving back to that, let's get back to where we were before. So, I would speculate that a big part of the reason that people are doing better financially during the quarantine is because you're cutting costs, right? Now I'm reading here. I'm gonna look at some of the comments that I got from the survey. Let me see. I'll start with Twitter. By the way, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Randy Jacobson. Okay, some people are just making smart aleck comments. Like this guy says, the greatest economy in the history of the world, and look at the number of people who crash and burn if they lose one paycheck. Well, maybe it's not as big as you think. Good. Okay, somebody said good and bad. Okay, neither, the same. It's been great for my health. I've always been saving. Says the person named Stay Positive. Amanda says, I find it hard to believe it's been good for the majority. Depends on who you are if you're able to work from home or not, which is absolutely true. This person says they work from home. And this other brother, Eric Gomes, says, good, but it's only going to get better. Good for him. Good for him. I'm glad to hear that. Let me see here. I'm going to look at another channel and see what people are saying on Your Black World. Who are the biggest? We are the biggest consumers and we don't produce anything. Yeah, we don't produce nearly as much as we should. And it's not just because we're not choosing to produce. It's also because when for those of us who choose to produce, you get blocked by people who don't think black people should be producing. You get blocked by what I call economic Klansmen or black economic Klansmen, which are basically black people who destroy black businesses. Think about this. Look at how many people you see that will attack and dog and scrutinize a black business owner until they're out of business, but will walk right past white people. Like they will literally, shout out, they will shoot down a black business owner, like snipe him in the head, but say nothing about all the white businesses that are out there. You have to really sort of watch out for that. Like when you see that kind of behavior, you got to kind of say, look, at least give that flower a chance to grow. Give them a chance to learn from their mistakes. Give them a chance to get better at what they're doing. Don't kill them, by just ridiculing them into the ground. And why do we do that? Well, a lot of it's self-hate. A lot of it is also the fact that you have a typecast. People don't see black people as business owners. They see black people as singers and basketball players and comedians. That's what you're seen as, right? So if you say, hey, I want to be the next, Jill Scott, then everybody gets that. If you say, I want to be the next Dr. Dre, well, everybody gets that. If you say, I want to be the next Michael Jordan, everybody gets that. If you say, I want to be the next Kevin Hart, everybody gets that. But if you say, I want to be the next Bill Gates or the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Steve Jobs or the next Elon Musk, people don't know what to do with that. They're like, wait, you're black. You're not supposed to do those things, right? And even other black people will do that, right? So just be careful about black people who ridicule black businesses. There's no reason for you to ridicule black businesses. I mean, there's 1,000 white businesses you could ridicule if you wanted to. Why are you starting with the black ones? I think that's a question that needs to be asked. So what else? The next point I'll throw in here is another reason I believe that the results were so surprising is because after the survey was done and we found out that the majority of you actually on my channel, I surveyed people on my YouTube channel also, drboycetv.com. It was 74%. So 74% of you said that the quarantine has been good for your finances. I believe that what you have found actually is that being at home has cut out the cost of gas. It's cut out the cost of a lot of the little things that you didn't think much about. The cost of lunch. It's cut out the cost of stopping at the coffee shop on your way to your way to work. It's cut out. You haven't been shopping, so the local dope dealers, basically, which are shopping malls, don't have as much ability to kind of access you and play with you and get you to, give them your money. You haven't been sucked in by the beauty salons. Beauty is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Unfortunately, black people don't own much of that industry, which is absolutely crazy to me. And so all these areas, all these little things are leading to lots of big windfalls financially. There's an awkwardness that occurs right when that first happens, where you can't go to the beauty shop, or you can't go out on Friday night, or you can't go out to dinner and spend money, or you can't go out to the mall, or you're not going to work every day and spending money, doing all the things you do, going back and forth to work. But what happens is after about 30 to 45 days, you start forming new habits. And after you start forming new habits, you just hit a new normal. And so what's going to happen is, as the economy eventually opens, which it will, the economy cannot stay closed forever. People are going to die for sure. People die every day. They die all the time. But as the economy opens again, you're not going to see the same the thing that you saw before. I think that a lot of people who used to get up and go to work every day are never going to do it again, which I think is awesome. I think there are going to be a lot of parents who are going to start homeschooling for good. In fact, actually, by the way, every week, one service we offer to the community is we do free homeschool training classes. So if you want to learn how to homeschool your child, you can go to theblackHomeschoolNetwork.com. That's theblackHomeschoolNetwork.com. Nomalanga Mushali Moses conducts free homeschooling training sessions every Tuesday and explains how she got her kids out of the public school, and she homeschools them. So basically, if you're interested in doing that permanently, then go to theblackHomeschoolNetwork.com. I just think that things are going to be different. In fact, with unemployment, they're actually finding that the $600 a week in unemployment benefits, which I think is a great number, is so high that a lot of people are making more money now than they did when they were working. And it's not just a few people. It's like the average worker, like almost damn near. Like there are some states where the majority of the workers are making more money with unemployment than they were making before. Now, how long can that last? I don't know. I personally think that we're playing with fire because the government is not made out of money. It doesn't have an infinite supply of money. But hey, when there's a shock like this, that's usually your opportunity. Like that's the jailbreak opportunity. Imagine if you're in prison and one of the walls explodes. Well, and there's chaos and a fire and everything else. Well, that's your chance to get out of jail. If you're smart, if you're a dumb criminal, you're going to sit there and panic. But if you're a smart criminal, you're going to start looking around to figure out if you can get the guard's keys so you can get out the gate, right, while nobody's looking, right? And so basically, right now, you've had this shock to the system with this whole pandemic scenario. And to me, I think that's a great opportunity for anybody that says, I always wanted to escape. I always wanted to get away, get back home, be with my family, and find a new way of life. So it looks like people are doing that. And I remember, it reminds me of something I learned when I was in grad school about economic theory. I learned this in 1998. And I remember that I didn't understand it at the time, but now I get it. Basically what happens is that human beings are naturally adaptive. We're naturally adaptive. So whatever the situation is, you might freak out and think, oh my God, like what am I going to do? But what happens is that you naturally just adjust, you re-optimize, you recalibrate in every new situation. So what you think is going to happen doesn't happen because you're adjusting to just new possibilities, new opportunities. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're, a woman has a boyfriend and she loves her boyfriend very much. And she says, oh my God, I can't live without my boyfriend. I need my boyfriend. Everybody falls in love and we just sort of feel that way, for a while. And, maybe forever. I hope it's forever for you, but most of the time it's not. And so you say, well, gosh, if he left her, she would just be single, like it would be really bad. She would have no boyfriend, right? But what happens, right? Let's say that he leaves and then she has no boyfriend. Well, she's single, but is she going to be single forever? No, she's not going to be single forever. Eventually, she'll adjust. Eventually, she'll evolve and she'll find another boyfriend and maybe even a better boyfriend, because she's evolved to the new environment. that there's space now. Okay, now there's space for a new man, and now because I'm smarter, I can pick a better man based on the mistakes I made with the last man. So at the end of the day, the thing is that you can ultimately, kind of work your way into a scenario where when you look at these results, these economic results, what you're finding is that people are just recalibrating, they're re-optimizing. They're finding new and better ways to make money. Most of you, give me a yes or no, in fact. Give me a yes or no if you feel that that getting through the quarantine has been better than you thought it was going to be. Like if you were to talk to your old self 3 months ago and describe what was going to happen, and that you were going to be stuck at home for 2 months and all this, maybe you lose your job, whatever, that it's different in reality than what you thought it was going to be. Give me a yes or no. How many of you feel that way? Okay, I'm seeing a couple yeses. Okay, a lot of yeses. Right, and really, I think a lot of life works that way. Like I heard a saying a long time ago that said that nothing is the worst thing that can ever happen to you, right? It just seems like the worst thing that could ever happen to you because you haven't gone through it. But what you haven't factored in is your adaptability, and the fact that you might get thrown into the water and literally have to confront your absolute worst nightmare, and then you'll be like, wait, I came out okay. In fact, I'm better off because I went through it. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone through that in life. And that's why if you go through life and you're not ever pushed out of your comfort zone, that's a huge loss for you. Like you're never, there are a lot of big wins that you could have had if you'd been forced to adjust that you'll never have, because sometimes out of self-preservation, we don't push ourselves to make the adjustment. Like being in a mediocre relationship with somebody you don't even like that much, but because you're so scared of the thought of losing that person, you don't make a move, right? But if sometimes if they just cut you off and dump you and you're all devastated and everything, a few months later, you're like, oh my God, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, right? So the one good way to grow, one good way to be happy, one good way to succeed, one good way to win, one good way to be strong and to be great and to be successful is to consistently learn how to cut yourself out of your comfort zone, right? Find some way or find somebody that will always break your plate, mess up your situation, to take you off the track that you're on, force you to do something other than what you're comfortable doing at that moment, because sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. I'll give you a perfect example, which is why I'm going to go. If I had it my way, I would probably sit here and keep talking to you for a really long time, and then I would go do some work. Then I would go back and I would sit on the couch and watch, an old basketball game on TV and eat some Skittles, right? Or eat actually Twizzlers. That's what I like, Twizzlers. But instead, Alicia is about to, rock my world. She's about to pull me right out of my comfort zone, but not rock my world in a good way. She's going to rock my world in a bad way. She's going to pull me out of my comfort zone. She's going to come downstairs, and I hear her little feet pitter-pattering, and she'll come down, and she'll say, okay, boys, it's 6 o'clock. Let's go for our run. And I'm going to groan, and I'm going to say, oh, man, because I don't like running, right? But I'm going to get up, and I'm going to keep my commitment, and we're going to go run 3 miles and then come back. And I'm going to not really enjoy it that much because running just isn't that much fun for me. But my body is in so much better shape because I allow her to pull me out of that comfort zone. If you go back and you look at pictures of me from 4 or 5 years ago, I was the swollen boys. I was much bigger. I was gaining weight every single year. But, so by pulling me out of my comfort zone, she opened the door to a new set of possibilities that I would not have had otherwise, right? So at the end of the day, find a process or a person that will consistently yank you out of your comfort zone so that you will be forced to grow. Growth is typically uncomfortable. Everybody wants growth. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to be better than they were yesterday. But very few people are able to have that discipline to consistently push themselves out of their comfort zone. But if you can do that, then you'll find that a lot of your dreams will have a chance of coming true, because you'll be able to morph yourself into whatever person you need to be to do the thing that you're trying to do next. Okay. So anyway, before I gotta go, let me remind you guys, if you know, now that I'm in this sort of teaching mode, I actually do have a program on motivation and goal setting and how to overcome obstacles, how to set goals, how to manage your time. I'm really good at that. And it's called Black Keys to Greatness, so feel free to check it out. The first month is totally free, so you can try it out for a month. There's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee if you're not happy for any reason, and it doesn't cost that much. I don't remember the cost, but if you're interested in this kind of thing and you want to be mentored to achieve your goals, feel free to go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. God bless you, and I'm happy for everybody who's happy with your life. And learn how to be a stock market investor. If you haven't learned how to invest yet, there's a free training at firstshareofstock.com. That's firstshareofstock.com. So take care, everybody. I'm about to go run. See you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV. Here we are.